Hi, I'm Louise Tolan and I'm Christopher's mum.
And I'm Christopher's dad. My name's Billy Tolan.
And do you have any other children?
Yes, I have another 3. I've got Joseph Tolan and Maria and Louise Ann.
And how old are all the Tolans, apart from you guys?
My oldest is 15.
I've got a 23-year-old daughter, but we have 4 children together.
And so who's this story about?
It's about Christopher.
It's about all of us.
He's 14.
He's 14.
So
go back to when you were pregnant with him. What were you thinking about vaccine-wise?
It's a difficult. Polly, I worked with children who are deaf-blind, and deaf-blind usually because of rubella. I was very pro-vax, and it would have taken a lot to change my mind.
So that's interesting. So you worked with people that were deaf and blind.
Because
they say because, or the parents would say because they had rubella.
Mhm.
Wow.
Definitely because they had rubella, you know. So yeah, you wouldn't have convinced me not to vaccinate my kids. I've done a total 180 here. You know. So pregnancy was absolutely fine. Birth normal, absolutely fine. APGAR scores perfect. No problems with Christopher whatsoever. Until, do you think this is MMR? I think I was a wee bit concerned about Christopher after his HIB, which was after his 9 months.
Okay,
I felt a bit concerned.
Let's go back to his schedule. So when he was born, was he okay?
He was absolutely fine.
And then what was the first vaccine he had?
He didn't have his first vaccine until 2 months.
Right, and he had the usual schedule.
It was the usual schedule, and I can't really remember off the top of my head.
And
what
he
it
was okay
for.
after that lot?
Totally fine.
Okay, then.
Totally fine after his 4 months. At 9 months, he had, and they don't do it anymore, he had a well child clinic, and it wasn't to go down and get vaccines, it was to go down and get an assessment. A 9-month assessment. That was quite a normal thing to do, wasn't it? Since been scrapped. And I think it's fairly obvious why. So but on record, you know, at 9 months, it will say that Christopher's
development was typical.
Meeting his milestones and doing everything that he should be doing.
And they've scrapped that?
They've scrapped that.
That's interesting.
Aye. They'd scrapped that by the time I had my 3rd child, so within sort of 5 years of Christopher getting it. Because Maria didn't. I had to ask for one for Maria. In fact, I did. I went down with Maria.
This was a dysfunctional mother episode.
Yeah.
They called you dysfunctional?
Dysfunctional.
In the records.
And floundering. That's in Christopher's records.
You're a dysfunctional mother.
And floundering.
And flat. Okay, we'll get to that bit when it's relevant. Okay, let's go back to, so you've got your kid's doing alright, he's on his second lot of DPTs.
Yep, he's did all that. Yeah, the 9 months assessment's absolutely fine. He may have got his HIB at that.
We're 9 months, had his check. So why would he have a HIB? What it be? C, whatever.
HIB, HIB.
Oh, HIB. Okay. HIB, people.
That's an influenza thing, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and that was at 9 months.
At 9 months. And I think I was a bit concerned about him being a little bit quiet after that, but not so concerned that he would do anything, and I've got video footage of him still engaged with us. I've got video footage before my brother's wedding where I'm saying, right, Christopher, dance, and he's dancing and clapping his hands, and eye contact's great, he's trying to sing, he's quite animated, and pretty normal, pretty fine. And then I think it's more like a nail in the coffin when he got his MMR. You know,
my big memory.
Slightly concerned about after his HIB, but then kind of went, oh no, he is actually fine. At 9 months.
My big memory was about that age prior to MMR, sitting in his high chair. Do you remember? We spoke about this before. He had a spear of broccoli in one hand and some chicken in the other. And within a week of that, he would only eat anything that was roughly that kind of colour. Beige.
Yeah.
If it wasn't beige, he wouldn't eat it.
So what he's saying is he had a spear of broccoli and a chicken drumstick in one hand.
Absolutely, one and the other, and sat there eating quite the thing, engaged and watching what was going on. And after that, so within a week certainly, if it wasn't that colour, he wouldn't eat it. And
so
to
they're not
this
saying
day,
he was that colour, he was saying he would not
no,
eat
foods,
food
but
I'm
only
having to
foods.
translate for them.
Okay, only foods of that colour, roughly beige shaped, beige coloured.
Foods that colour, Pete.
Anything that was, it just changed. He was a really good eater. We used to eat and sort of try and do family meals, but that went, because anything that was roughly wet, like soups or sauces,
Christopher
he would vomit. and that was 12 years ago. He's still the same. 11.5 years ago.
Describe him today. What's he like?
He's funny. He's very, very clever.
Is he verbal?
He's verbal but not conversational, I wouldn't say. He'll only talk about things that are of his interests. He'll not doesn't often initiate a conversation, or he'll just say something out the blue like.
He's very focused on the things that are of interest to him,
Yeah.
which fortunately change. He's quite lucky in some respects that he's very, very musical and he loves music, so he has that as a
musical ability.
He plays keyboards mainly. But
Aye.
yeah, it's great. It'd be nice if we could talk to us, but yeah, so we're lucky. If you make the best of what you have. He's not he's not social, he doesn't have a friend.
No.
He doesn't even ask you for a lot of his basic needs. I don't think he'll ever be independent of us.
No.
If that's...
It requires help
an
with
indicator.
personal hygiene and all that. It requires help, and as I say, he's
His future.
not conversational.
He's currently at school. We're having to railroad the school into to go in certain directions. My biggest fear for him in some respects is that he'll become totally isolated. Whilst he remains within secondary education, he's got avenues to explore his interests, he's got avenues to get out of the house and to do things. We've put him into a mainstream school because Christopher's very interested in badges and logos, so that he'll run up and talk to people, and doing that sort of thing with other teenagers can be seen as very hostile. It makes him very, very vulnerable. So we've tried to get him into the mainstream school so that he's recognised within the broader community. But I don't feel that
he's not part of the mainstream school,
No,
though. He's in the
it's a unit
base.
within the school for speech and language issues. I'm saying this basically because they haven't really been as helpful as we would have hoped. We'd specify they went to that school because one of the main things was not about education. I don't care about Christopher's education. He's educated himself in those things that he's interested in. But I do care about his socialisation, and I don't feel that the school have been as helpful as they might have been.
I don't think that Christopher has ever been taught anything from another person. Everything that Christopher knows, he's taught himself. He could read and write before he went to school at age 4. He can crack codes. He taught himself music. He taught himself the alphabet. He's taught himself.
He's made films with
really
German and Italian.
He's what?
He's made films. And
Films?
Yes, films using sort of computer software. But there's parts of them in German and Italian.
And they're interactive as well. You have to click a button and it does something.
My brother came round to the house who is a linguist, and he was able to say that's actually grammatically correct. So just to reinforce Louise's point, yeah, he's taught himself many things, but
not let other people teach him. And it's quite frustrating because if I want to try and do something on the computer and I know that he could do it in a heartbeat, he can't show me how to do that. You know, if I want to help another sibling with their homework, they've got a certain topic to do, I could say Christopher knows everything about this, but he can't.
Do you have any anger about the fact that this could have been prevented?
Yes. Tons.
I'm kind of ambivalent. I think an awful lot of people genuinely believe the vaccine programme is well intentioned. Part of the real anger, I suppose, if there is about the misinformation. There's intelligent people out there, but you can't reach rational, sensible conclusions, no matter how rational you are, if you don't have the basic information.
If you're trying to speak to a doctor and explain that, I was trying at the time to say I believe autism is treatable. I want a gluten-free diet. I'm trying to do all the biomed stuff, and that's when I got written into the Christopher's medical records that whilst Christopher's autistic, he's doing really well, but his mother's dysfunctional and floundering. And this is me trying to say no. I'm researching this all the time, and they just think that you're just not coping and finding strategies to cope with, and in actual, there's just no help whatsoever. I was hoping to get a prescription for gluten-free food off them, no chance. you know, that would never work, don't be silly. And obviously, when I discussed anything about vaccines and autism, it was never ever, it's absolutely, definitely not the vaccines, you know. It could never be the vaccines that did
Even
that.
education.
But it took us years to sort of discover, because of the Denmark study, I think I felt as if, I feel as if it's the vaccines that did that to my child. But everybody else is telling me that it's not. All these professionals are telling us that it's not. And it's not really until 2014 that I said, I bloody knew all along it was.
There's a level at
I
which
feel as it's been kind of validated.
I didn't care, because we were trying to take a pragmatic approach to hell with what caused it. Let's see if we can fix it.
No, I don't think I could get over the fact
well,
that... I could
there were
get over
different
the fact
focuses on
that I had a healthy baby for a while, and then without there being a car crash or a severe head injury, this boy's totally changed. What else could it have been? You know?
What's your advice to parents now who may be like you, that were extremely pro-vaccine because you saw the effects of rubella in the damage that did? So, what if?
I think I could.
I mean, how could you change the you of then?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it would have taken to change me.
Rubella.
Do you think if you'd watched your story? Sorry, 1 second. Do you think if you were the old you was sitting here working in that deaf, blind place because of rubella, was sitting here right now in front of Periscope watching you back? Do you think that would have done it or not?
It might have done it. It might have done it, because I remember at the time thinking that, how can vaccines possibly cause autism? How can a parent not have noticed that their kid's got autism? Because at the same time I also worked for Sense Scotland, and they had a lot of autistic kids in it, and I was saying, well, you can't miss it, that Wayne's obviously autistic. How did they not notice that he was autistic before 18 months? It doesn't just happen. I couldn't really figure that out or quite believe it. But it doesn't mean they're not born with it. It's not that they haven't noticed, it's that there was nothing wrong with them.
Rubella is particularly damaging, but it's only particularly damaging in the late stages of pregnancy, when the brain is actually forming. What's that got to do with the notion that what you're asking is would things have changed? To me, there seems to be a very paternalistic, almost arrogance within the medical community that says we can't allow for a rational debate amongst the public because they'll mess it up. And that's, I think, is the anger. I'm not as convinced as Louise is that all of this is caused by vaccines, but I am utterly convinced that we need a debate, and we're not having it. It's misinformation at best and downright lies. And unfortunately, the medical profession, a lot of the time, they just buy it. They're just professionals like anything else. They're indoctrinated into this thing which is almost quasi-religious. I mean, we're watching it just now with kids down south where they're going to, the medical profession decided they're going to switch off life support systems rather than allow parents to do stuff. There was that couple that went to Spain with their kid and they had blooming Interpol out for them. There is this terribly paternalistic is too generous. It's quite scary, and I think as an offshoot of that at a slightly lower level, the same attitude is what prevents us as the public from getting access to accurate information.
That's exactly it. And if I
and that's what changed
access
us.
to accurate information at the time, then yeah, you would have sat and
we met with
sure.
a gastroenterologist who refused to carry out certain tests that we wanted done on Christopher. And in fact, he said to me that it was unethical because they were too intrusive. And I had to point out to him that if I paid the £160, the ethical issue somehow vanished.
What was unethical? Unethical, what was that?
He didn't want to do blood tests because he felt that the blood draw itself was distressing to the child, which undoubtedly it is. But we do blood tests all the time.
So if your other child that's not injured had terrible gastrointestinal problems and was rushed into a gastroenterologist, they wouldn't think of doing it twice, but because your child maybe can't speak or whatever, they said, you know what it is? Because they don't want to tell you what they find. They don't want to be wake-fielded. That's what that's about.
I got reported to the NSPCC for giving Christopher blood draws, for taking him for blood draws.
That's the National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children.
What chance have you got? Social workers at my door telling me, you know, well, actually telling us, look, we know that you're not cruel to your child, but
Yeah,
they
that was
have
rugby.
to investigate it because the NSPCC had been informed that I had got my child a blood draw.
The other thing parents out there
The
should...
NSPCC is the National Prevention of Cruelty to Children. So if you get reported to that, you're in a big bit of trouble.
No, you're not in a big bit of trouble,
No,
but
the
they will
social work come out to
investigate.
investigate.
They will
The
investigate.
social work came out, and they came out to investigate.
But again, it depends
they
on
knew
the
us,
social
they had
worker.
known us for a few years anyway, and was known that we're not going to be cruel to a child. We could tell them what the circumstances were. It was because I worked with a lassie that got sacked, and she was wanting to find somebody to get back at. Because at the time I was a director at Autism Treatment Trust in Edinburgh.
That's where I know your name from.
Alright,
Yeah, you worked with
So-
Bill Welsh.
we did.
Yes.
So
Good luck
she
to you,
was.
Bill, if you're out there.
I know.
What?
I said, good luck to you, Bill, if you're out there. Very nice man.
So anyway, that girl wanted to get back at me in that way. So anyway, the social workers knew that was the circumstances.
We had social work on board by that time. And that's the other thing I would say to parents. It's very, very difficult to access the services, but if you apply yourself, it can be done. You just have to learn to speak their language. Although it's not easy, but it's... We have managed to employ a person for 13.5 hours a week to implement our own education programme for Christopher. But it did take several years, and it did take a lot of tears and
It's called
grief.
direct payments.
Well, it's changed its
It's
name
changed
now,
its name, is it?
but that's not the point. I mean, you're kind of available on email. If people want advice on it, we could
Aye.
probably
Is there anything else you want to tell the peeps?
Don't vaccinate.
They're not going to. They've already got vaccinated kids.
Totally.
We all did
Totally.
make that mistake before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your story.